Hello and hi, I'm Daniel DK and I am pleased to be the first to welcome you back to Overkill Reviews in 2023 right here on BangerTV. Last year had some kick-ass records. This year's already looking promisingly stacked and we're kicking it off in a big way with some OG Florida death metal. Let's go! It's the brand new Obituary record entitled Dying of Everything, and it's out January 13th, 2023 on Relapse Records. In death metal, it doesn't get much bigger or more legend status than Obituary, so let me see if I can tell you something about the band you don't already know. Hailing from Tampa, they formed as Obituary in 1988, but they have roots together going back as early as '84 under the name Xecutioner. Now, you might recognize that name from a 1987 split called Raging Death. This 12-inch split is famous for having a bunch of early recordings of bands that would all become notable in the world of death metal later on down the road. It's got Sadist with Steve DiGiorgio, Ravage before they were called Atheist, Xecutioner before they were called Obituary, and it's even got a band called Lethal Presence, which features Bobby Sadzak from Slaughter, the Strapato Slaughter, not the Up All Night Sleep All Day Slaughter. Today, Obituary are known as undisputed pioneers of the genre. Shout out 1990's Cause of Death for being a perfect record. The band is known for their distinct brand of thick mid-tempo grooves. Their most recent record was 2017. It was called Obituary, self-titled. It was one of their best releases since the late 90s and became an instant fan favorite. So, with Obituary's new and 11th studio album, my biggest question is, will it be able to live up to the very fucking awesome last record prior? And will it keep one of the most consistent streaks in death metal alive? Let's find out. I love when bands maintain a consistent lineup, allowing the listener to become familiar with the individual players and the chops they bring to each record. So let's start there. At the core of Obituary since day one are brothers John Tardy on vocals and Donald Tardy on drums. In a band heavily driven by rhythmic grooves, Donald's role is so much more than just keeping the beat. The songs move in the way they do because of how he composes the drum parts and what he chooses to accent in the riffs. His ability to take a riff, process it through his unique playing, and then completely transform it shines as bright as ever on this album. I can safely say the band would sound completely different if anyone else was drumming. Brother John Tardy brings his signature vocals that oftentimes sound more like a possessed instrument than they do sounds from human vocal cords. He's even been quoted as saying that some of his vocal parts aren't actually made up of words. They're just sounds and grunts and groans that sound well to complement the music. The takeaway? His growl is iconic and his voice is completely intact here on album 11.
Calculated breathings, my words inscribed in stone.
Alright, let's talk about the third piece of the signature Obituary sound. Trevor Perez on guitar with his instantly identifiable thick rhythm tone and those chunky riffs. This record is absolutely drenched in wall of sound style, really bottom heavy, fuzzed and also buzzed. Hello, Connor. The fuzzed and also buzzed tones. There's non-stop riffage at his hands. From those classic Obituary, really evil sounding tritone descending riffs to those really chonky, palmed out, thick chords. It's all there. The lead guitar, courtesy of Kenny Andrews, is spicy and super melodic, which is always welcome. I really like the fact that there's guitar solos early in the songs, as opposed to the more standard style of them being in the back half of the songs. I love that, and I love that it opens up this larger concept of Obituary always kind of keeping their compositions unique and not conforming to those trends of verse, chorus, verse with pre-chorus with a refrain and put the solo at the end, then bring back the first riff thing and close with a double chorus. They've always kind of done their own thing, and sometimes they just play 8 different riffs in a row with no rhyme or reason, and that's what makes them Obituary. Check out this riff and lead from the title track, Absolute Guitar Worship. This band is so damn consistently themselves that I'm making it one of my main points to address my favorite Obituary-ism that is all over this record. The way they keep things simple in all the right places to better serve the overall integrity of the song. The focus is never really on single pieces standing out in Obituary songs. It's about playing into each other's strengths and collectively creating something that's distinctly Obituary, and that's exactly what they do on this record. The result is something fun to listen to that comes off honest, and I can already tell that all of these songs are going to be a ton of fun to hear live. Contrary to what one dude in leather pants once said, less can be more. The carefully placed single note chugging riffs, classic fade outs to end off a song, a big drop into a mosh part, doubling up on a chorus, all effective tools from the classic Obituary catalog, and they know exactly how to not overuse them. Even that little clean guitar gimmick in the song War is done in a simple and tasteful way that ends up making the song way heavier. But you gotta listen to the whole album to hear that little bit. In a time where listening to music on shuffled playlists is so predominant, I feel like sometimes song flow on a record is a lost art. Something I noticed on my first listen to this record is that it flows seamlessly through peaks and valleys ranging from lightning thrashers to down-tempo stomps, sometimes even within the same song. The record is also beautifully bookended with a 3.5-minute speed-driven opener, literally the fastest song on the whole record to kick it off, and then a sludgy, death doom, 6-minute epic to close it out, the longest and slowest song on the whole record at the end. It's touches like this that make Dying of Everything feel like a record that's worthwhile to consume in one sitting as it was meant to be heard, not shuffled into chunks and pieces and singles on different playlists. Here's a bit of the amazing doomy album closer. Someone please tell Blaine Smith he will fucking love this song. Today, I set out to answer whether or not Obituary's new record, Dying of Everything, would continue in the footsteps of their last one and keep one of the longest running streaks in death metal alive. And I've reached a verdict. Not to be too cliche, but this band has got to be the AC/DC of death metal. They consistently sound like themselves in the best way possible, and they have this way of knowing how to make new songs that come out that sound familiar, but also unique at the same time. I swear they're also one of the only bands in the world where you could take any song from their catalog, put it on at any point in that song, and you instantly know without a doubt that you're listening to Obituary. While I think 2017's self-titled possesses some swagger and some extremely high points that Dying of Everything doesn't quite hit, there is no doubt that I'll be listening to this album a couple more dozen times before the end of the year. The streak remains intact. All hail Obituary. Dying of Everything. 3.5 out of 5 skulls right here on Overkill Reviews. All right, let's do some shoutouts. These are some records you must check out. Screamer, Kingmaker, January 13th on Steamhammer. Sweden's Golden Boys are back with a brand new record, and I couldn't be more proud of them. These guys work so hard, and it's paying off in a massive way. If you're into anything traditional heavy metal, generally hard rockin', or melodic, this is a must for you. It kicks ass. I've listened to it a bunch already. Great riffs, great songs, soaring vocals. Get it. I've also got a kick-ass Dying Victims Productions record for you, a label that Blaine has turned me on to, and I can pretty much guarantee that just all their albums are good all the time now, it seems. This is Trastorned, Into the Void, coming January 27th. It's old school aggressive speed and thrash metal out of Santiago, Chile. It falls somewhere between very German, almost blackened sounding early Destruction and Creator, and super American West Coast a la Violence riffing, Exodus even. Plus there's some slap bass. Let's fucking go. If you want some more album recommendations, hit up the BangerTV Patreon for a list of those. Plus, that's where you can also check out Sam Dunn's brand new podcast, Caught in a Rant. If you dig what I do and you want some more of me, check out my personal social media links. Check out my tour dates with Exciter. The links to my Twitch streams are there. All sorts of other cool shit that I'm up to. We'll see you there. All right, that's all from me. I'm Daniel DK for BangerTV. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think of Obituary's latest offering. I'll see you soon.